Hey guys, SirVern back here. Hey guys, SirVern back here.
Hey guys, SirVern back here, and today I'm reviewing Late Shift for the PS4. I'm going to go over the same 5 categories I always do: graphics, performance, gameplay/story, replayability, and fun factor. Give each category a score from 1 to 10, average it up, and then talk about the game a little bit. So as you can see, this is an FMV game, full motion video. These were really popular back in the 90s, and then a few years back, Limited Run published this one along with a few others. And I bought a few, but this is the first one I've ever played, so it was really interesting. So we'll get right into it. Graphics, I'm going to give a 10. This was a PS4 game, and when I put this in my PS5, it had a PS5 version, so this is all in 4K. It looks phenomenal. It's a video. It's basically a movie that you're playing. It gives you decisions, which you'll see pop up on the screen. You have, 4 or 5 seconds to make that decision. And this game has 7 different endings. So, anyway, we'll get to the next category, performance. I initially had a 10 written down, but I gave it an 8 for a few issues. So the sound in this game is really annoying. You can barely hear the dialogue. If you do not have subtitles on, you will have no idea hardly what they're talking about. I turned down the music all the way down. That helped out a bit, but that's still an issue for me. I think the voices needed to be much louder. The background noise and the music's just too loud for my taste. The next issue I had is some of the scenes will abruptly cut off, the character. You know what they're going to say, but it'll mid-word, it'll cut to the next scene, which is kind of weird. Anyway, so I gave performance an 8. I just docked it a few points. Next category, but performance, one more thing. It's, playable all the way through. No game crashes or anything like that, but just a few nitpicks. But gameplay/story. So this will have the most to say. So I wrote a 2, then crossed it out, then a 3, and then a 4. So when I first played this game, like I said, it has 7 endings. My wife and I played all 3 within a week. And the first ending was the story's only an hour and a half, I think, at the longest. And my first playthrough was about 45 minutes, and it was a terrible ending. I did not like the way my story went. I don't know how much the branches really spread, or I don't know what a perfect ending looks like, but my first time playing this game, it was an awful ending. It halfway through, it was awful all the way to the end. I did not like the way it ended or progressed. Then I let my wife play the next time, and it was interesting to watch the decisions change the story more than I thought they would. I'm not sure what a good ending looks like, but I didn't like her story that much either. And then I wanted to review it after the second time, but my wife convinced me to play it one more time, and it was even worse. The last one was awful, but it was cool to see the different ways it could end, because they did catch me off guard, a few of them. So I'm going to give gameplay/story a 4. Story can be cheesy at times. Some of the scenes are kind of corny, like some of the fight scenes. I'm not going to spoil anything. This is just the first 5 minutes of the gameplay, and then I'm just going to do a bunch of screenshots. But anyway, gameplay/story a 4. Replayability, this is kind of a tough one. It has 7 endings, so you can play it 7 times, and say 7 hours is probably ballpark what you're going to get out of this game. So once you do those 7 times, you're probably never going to play this game again. So I give it a 4. It's a pretty low, mediocre score, but you can play a game 7 times, and there's something to be said about that. So replayability a 4. Fun factor, I'm going to give a 5. I wrote 3 initially, and I bumped it up to 5 because I was playing with my wife. It was interesting. She's like, "No, pick this. You should have picked this. What would happen if I would have picked that?" So it was cool to see the differences. But like I said earlier, I'm not sure how much or what part of the story can really branch off, because there's a few things I think have to happen. And I think there's probably a perfect ending, the one you would want, or like a positive ending, and then everything leading, just the story may end at 6 points, and those would be the 6 endings, and the 7 being the perfect one. But I'm not sure, so it's I might have to go watch the endings on YouTube, because I personally don't think I'm gonna put in any more time. I've probably put in 4 hours into this game, and I'm not sure I'm gonna go and beat this game. Like I said, I beat it 3 times, so 4 more times. It shows. I've seen every scene now. It shows at the end. You'll see some of the screenshots, and then at the end it'll show you like how many times I've finished it, how many endings I've seen, that kind of thing. So just to average it up, or just to recap, graphics of 10, performance an 8, gameplay/story of 4, replayability of 4, fun factor of 5. That averages out to a 6.2 out of 10. So respectable. I do like how it came out physical. So I have this game physically. I can play it for forever. It just sits on my shelf. I like that. And this is my first FMV game I've ever played. So if you're interested in something like this is an excellent game for girlfriends or wives that aren't good at playing video games or using the joystick, because she can play this game. You just use a D-pad and one button. You just make the decision, and that's really all there is to it. So it's just like an interactive movie. In fact, a buddy of mine told me about a Netflix show that you kind of do the same thing. So that's neat. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, it didn't blow me away. I have a few others that I might give a try pretty soon. But that's really all I have for Late Shift for the PS4. And with the PS5 upgrade, I guess recommended if you find it cheap. SirVern out.